Hello and welcome. You're watching a special show on same-sex marriage and India. We all know same-sex was decriminalized, but what about same-sex marriages now, meaning the gay marriages? Why the government is against it, and what are the issues that bog down the whole concept, especially in the country like India? Certainly the issues of gay marriage needs close attention, and not just at the legal level but at the legislative level as well. To discuss the fine print of gay marriages and India, I have with me my colleague Ashok Bagaria. Ashok, when Article 377 was scrapped, that was a first in itself. Now that India is at the cusp of another, possibly a historic move, how difficult or different the situation is right now with respect to same-sex marriage?
Well, as far as the same-sex marriages are concerned, there are over a clutch of 15 petitions which are before the Supreme Court of India. Now, these petitions were earlier filed in various high courts in the year 2020, and there were some which were filed in the Supreme Court of India. So to prevent any, possibly cross orders by the high courts and the Supreme Court of India, all these petitions in the high courts were also clubbed and brought to the Supreme Court of India. And yesterday, there was a common filing by the government of India where it said that it is opposed to the idea of same-sex marriages because they believe that marriage as a notion recognized in India only recognizes the idea of marriage between a biological man and a biological woman. Moreover, the government of India is also taking a position that the courts should keep off these issues, and these are the issues which are best dealt by the parliament, which represents the will of the people. So this is here where the matters are placed at the moment. Today there is a hearing in the Supreme Court, and we are not expecting much to happen, but there will be some more time which will be given for the petitioners, the LGBTQ community members who have come to the Supreme Court seeking legalization or legal recognition to same-sex marriages. They will be filing their counter affidavits to the stand taken by the government of India.
Right, Ashok. Also, Centre is also citing the very concept of the decriminalization of Article 377 about the same-sex being decriminalized. Do you think that the time and again the way Centre is raising questions and asking, it should not be misjudged as consent to same-sex marriage, first of all, and secondly, also wanting Supreme Court to stay out of it, because marriages, as they say, is a legislative matter as well?
Well, you're right here. Actually, in 2018, the Supreme Court had read down Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which actually decriminalized sex between individuals of the same sex. So basically, it was hailed as a huge judgment by the Supreme Court of India when it read down 377. And it looked like for the people of the LGBTQ community that they had a foot into the door, and they will now move towards legalization or legal recognition of the same-sex marriages. And today what we are seeing is basically a culmination of the 2018 judgment, and the LGBTQ couples have come to the Supreme Court saying that now, in the light of this 2018 judgment, which said that as far as sexual intercourse between consenting adults of the same sex is concerned, it cannot be criminalized. But there is a catch here. Now, marriage as a concept is different from a penal concept. We have crime and we have marriage. Marriages are governed by personal laws, crimes are governed by penal laws. The Supreme Court has said that as far as penalizing consensual sex between consenting adults is concerned, it is not a crime. They haven't said anything about the marriages, whether they are going to recognize marriages, same-sex marriages or not. But the members of the LGBTQ community believe that now that same-sex has now been decriminalized, in the sense that consenting adults of the same sex can have in their private do whatever they want, that has been decriminalized. Now the next logical step is that more and more couples are coming out in the open. They are feeling more emancipated, and they have come to the court saying that we want marriages, we want unions, we want the understanding, the basic understanding between us and our partners to be recognized. We want to start a family. Now that is where the situation is at the moment, and the Supreme Court is seized with a very peculiar, not just legal question, but it's also a very peculiar social question, Manoj.
Indeed, and with the changing trends as far as the society is concerned, Ashok, 32 countries, as per the statistics, say that they recognize same-sex marriage. India, once again, is something which is trying to maybe make history here, but obviously the bottlenecks are clear. With the changing trends, staying with them, do you believe that over a period of time, we have seen how vociferously these things have started coming out, and people are not shying away from talking about their sexual orientation as well, something that is a very new thing that is developing there. Do you believe that a changing India too would recognize this concept sooner than later?
Well, it's a very difficult question, Manoj, that you pose as to what's really going to happen, which way the Supreme Court is going to rule. But at the moment, what we really know is that the Government of India is opposed to this idea. Now, their basic idea is that the law, the personal laws which govern marriages, adoption, inheritance, and matters like that, matters related to marriage, are governed by personal laws. And the Government of India is saying that all personal laws, whether it is a Hindu personal law, Muslim personal law, Christian personal law, or any other personal law in this country which govern the marriages, they only recognize the idea of marriage between a man and a woman. There is no such recognition which personal laws grant to same-sex couples. So that is one thing. The other thing, the Government of India is saying that if the court steps into this issue and tries to decide the issue, it's going to actually disturb a very delicate balance which exists between the personal laws of the citizens of this country and the societal values. Now, there are values which the people of India follow. The Government of India is saying that the Parliament is actually the body which can reflect the wishes of the people, and any change in the personal laws or any step towards recognition of same-sex marriages should come from the Parliament and not from the courts.
No, and that's what the government is contending. Obviously, one final question before I let you go, Ashok. Do you believe a major overhaul is needed as far as the personal laws are concerned? Because from several other quarters, we are hearing that a bigger and a broader picture might come into play here. Do you believe that maybe the time for as far as the legalization of same-sex is concerned will have to wait for a longer time?
It looks like that considering, first you'll have to take into account that there's a stand by the Government of India which claims to represent the wishes of the people because they are an elected body. The Parliament represents the people, not just the people, but also the values that the people abide by. Now, marriage is a very sticky subject. We've seen in the past that any effort to bring about a change in the personal laws has met with resistance as far as the government is concerned, as we saw in the 1988 Shah Banu case. Now, as far as same-sex marriages is concerned, it's not just a legal question, as I said in the beginning. It's a very sticky and social question, a question or an issue which will have very far-reaching ramifications for the personal laws, and people in this country are very, very possessive about the laws which govern marriages, which govern their personal and private lives, which govern their inheritance, which govern all other issues that arise out of marriages. So I don't know at the moment, but one thing is there's a bright, the only redeeming feature in this whole litigation is that it's before a bench of the Chief Justice of India. The Chief Justice of India is leading it, and he is generally somebody who has a very broad outlook on the issue, and he's been very open to the idea of the right to privacy of same-sex couples and also expanding the zone for marriages.
Right. Obviously, Ashok, thank you so much for speaking to us. And obviously, the government's contention that this particular issue should not be pushed into the domain of right to privacy is something which again takes it back to the realm of the legislative. Thin line between the legal and the legislative issues there, but one thing is for sure, as far as the community is concerned, the gay prides that we have been seeing, at least the matter is in Supreme Court, and now it remains to be seen which way would the court adjudicate in this matter. And secondly, the government also planning to bring major changes if at all it deals with the personal laws issue. Thanks for watching. More news and updates continue on Newsline Plus.